Or want to watch it later?
Is it on?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Take Derek off of mute. He said he can't hear. All right.
Derek, can you hear us now? Yes. Okay.
Okay, very good. All right. So speaking to the microphone, so everyone that's watching on live stream and watch it later can hear what's being said. The same for the audience. When anybody going up to speak, I believe the microphone is on up there already. Please be sure to speak into the microphone so everyone can hear. Also, we ask that no speaking from the audience. If you speak from back there, it doesn't pick up on the recording, so we can't hear what it is. So if you have something you've got to say, then you may be recognized by the chairperson. Let's see. Oh, and just one more thing I want to say before we start the meeting is the Planning Commission is a recommending body, and their job is to recommend to the City Council what they think is the right thing to do in each of these cases. The actual decision-making occurs with the legislative body, our City Council, and they will make the final decision on each of these three. So this is just a recommended body. It goes on to the City Council for final decision. So, Madam Chairperson.
Are we ready now?
Yes, ma'am.
Let the Planning and Zoning Commission February 28th, 2023 meeting come to order. Commissioner Lael, will you read the statement of purpose, please?
May our decisions today be made with wisdom, careful deliberation, and in the best interest of the city of Diamond Head. May we display patience and kindness in our dealings with each other and all who are in attendance. And may any decisions made today promote the health, safety, and welfare of the citizens of Diamond Head and the enhancement of the city as a whole.
Please stand and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Commissioner DeBrow, Commissioner Cook, Commissioner Nico,
Here.
Commissioner Bennett,
here.
Commissioner Lael,
Here,
Commissioner Brewer, Commissioner Flowers.
Here. Okay. Are there any adjustments to the agenda, or can we have a motion for confirmation?
I make a motion for confirmation.
Okay. Second,
Second.
do we need a roll call? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. Okay. Next, we need a motion for the approval of the minutes from the January 24th, 2023 meeting.
I make a motion to approve the meeting minutes. Are there any changes been made that we know of?
Okay. Is there a second?
I second it.
Okay. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. Okay. Motion passes. Moving on to new business. Item number 3, Dennis Mitchell Jr. has filed an application requesting a variance from the zoning ordinance Article 4.19 to construct a residence within 9 feet 2.5 inches of the side yard property line. The property address is 1430 Hananiki Aloha Place. The tax parcel number is 132R check 0 check 10 check 118.000. The property is in an R2 zoning district. The side yard setbacks are 10 feet. The variance request is for 9.5 inches. The case file number is 2023-0000.
Okay, before we start into this, and while Ron's handing those out to you, the staff reports to you,
Yes.
I wanted to introduce Melissa Williams. She is substituting for Derek tonight as our legal counsel, and just want to make sure that y'all knew who she was and what she was doing here. And we've also got Derek as a backup on the phone there in case we need him for anything. All right. Mr. Mitchell applied for a variance here. The previous house that was on this lot, although it was not owned by him, was destroyed by fire. I think it was in the 2021 timeframe, if I'm correct, if I remember correctly. What he's asking to do is to build now a single-family residence on the same house footprint as the previous one was built. It has an existing circular driveway and has a pool there already. I believe the original house was built in 2008, and that's where we are. He's asking to build on the original footprint. So that's where we are.
It's my understanding the house that was built before that had a variance for,
It was built in 2008, so that was prior to the city being incorporated. So anything that would have come at that point in time would have come either through the county, which was probably unlikely, or would have come before through the POA to get a variance. So, and then there's the other issue is the 10-foot versus 8-foot setback. So where were we in that point in time? So I'm not sure if there was a variance issued for the previous house, but I do know that the house was built within 9.5 inches of the property line.
Are you Mr. Mitchell? Okay, please come forward and tell us what you'd like to do.
I was just going to reference that. According to the designer, I didn't even know what this variance was until I was expecting to hear, okay, you have your permit, and then they said you got to get a variance. But I asked the builder, the designer, and I said, well, I wanted this in the same blueprint so we didn't have any issues. And he said, well, the previous house did have a variance. I don't know where he got that information from, but that's what it was passed on to me. So that's the information that I have on that question.
thanks.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Mitchell, did you want to say anything else?
Is there anything else you want us to let us know about the project?
It's just a single-family house. So the information that I got,
No.
we were here on vacation, and that's when I told I had to get a variance, and we had 3 days to get the application in. So I left my wife, and I came here and begged and pleaded for help to get that application in. And so the information that we came up with is that the 3 lots of the houses that are currently there, ours was, I think, 11,300. Then it was 10,400 or 500, and then 11,700 was the size of the area of the lots, the 3 lots that we're on. Our house will be 2210, which is smaller than the previous house. That was 23 and some square footage. The house next door is identical at 2,200 square feet, and then the other one, and that has a smaller area lot. So I'm assuming he didn't know, that owner didn't know if he had a variance or not. And then the other one, that's Kevin. He said that he was pretty sure they had a variance, and he was supposed to get back with me. He didn't. Their house is 2,855 square feet, and they're on that almost same area lot that we're on. So we're just trying to do a comparable house. It's actually one of the smaller ones. So
Are you the only 3 homes on that street?
as of now,
As
it
of
looks
now?
like they're starting to develop some of the lots. Well, there is one on the other side of the cul-de-sac
Mhm.
that was burned. That one also burned halfway or so, and I went and talked to him. He's rebuilding that one, so he's in the process of that one. And it looks like they just cleared another lot next to the second one over Kevin's house there. So
Okay.
Good.
And notifications were made to all the neighbors?
Yes,
Okay.
that is correct. The notifications went out in the Seacoast Echo.
Okay.
It was published on, I believe, the 9th of February, and then when on the 6th of February, we sent out the letters within 400 feet of the residence there, which is what the requirements are.
Okay.
And in addition to that, we've got one response, and that was a neighbor who was in favor of it.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So, Commissioners, any questions for Mr. Mitchell?
No. No, I don't.
Okay. So you need less than a foot? Less than a foot, okay, thank you.
you.
Okay, so staff recommendation?
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. As you well know, when we're studying a variance and deciding to grant one, there's 8 conditions here that we must answer affirmative in order to give that variance. So, starting with that, our recommendation is to approve the variance as petitioned, and based on the following facts: that special conditions do exist which are peculiar to the land, structure, or building involved, and which are not applicable to other land, structures, or buildings in the same district. If you look on page 14 of your package, you'll see a picture there of the previous house that was there prior to the fire destroying it. It was the applicant, so that's the footprint that we're looking at here, to give you a visual of that. That the 9 feet, 9
9.5 inches,
9, 2.5
9.5 inches.
2.5 inches,
no, 9 feet, 2.5 inches.
yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's the setback, right. 9 feet instead of 10, 9 feet, 2.5 inches. Okay. The literal interpretation of the provision would deprive the applicant of rights commonly enjoyed by other properties within the same zoning district, as evidenced by what Mr. Mitchell said. The requested variance is compatible with existing homes in that cul-de-sac. Special circumstances do exist, do not result from the actions of the applicant. He just wants to replace what was there before the fire. So he's not asking for anything special. The granting will not confer on the applicant any special privilege that is denied in the same zoning district. The variance will represent the minimum variance required and will represent the least modification possible of the regulation in issue. It does observe the spirit of the ordinance. It will observe the spirit of the comprehensive plan and will not result in any change in use or density of the subject property. So for these findings and these reasons, the staff recommends approving the variance as requested.
Thank you. Commissioners, any questions for Mr. Rich?
Mhm.
Okay.
So I'll go ahead and make a motion to grant Mr. Mitchell, if my calculation's right, 9.5 inches variance.
Mhm. Okay, is there a second for a motion to recommend to the city council that we grant the variance?
I'll second it.
Okay. Discussion, is there any?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so, do we need to do a roll
Speak up.
call? Do we need to do a roll call
No.
vote?
No.
Okay, so all those in favor of the motion to recommend to the city council that we grant the variance of 9.5 inches to Mr. Mitchell, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. So motion passes. Okay. Moving on in new business to item number 4, the Diamond Head POA, the Camp House Restaurant, has filed an application requesting a variance from the zoning ordinance Article 10.6 to place an additional 50 square feet of signage on the front wall of the restaurant. The property address is 3410 Yacht Club Circle. The tax parcel number is 131M check 2 check 11 check 058.000. The property is in a C2 zoning district. The maximum square footage for wall-mounted signs is 150 square feet. The variance requested is 50 square feet. The case file number is 2023-00025.
Okay, how we got here? All right, on January 4th of this year, an application was submitted for wall-mounted signs for this restaurant that would be with a coverage area of 200 square feet. The ordinance states that 150 square feet is the maximum allowed. What the restaurant decided to do was to exclude one side from their request to reduce their square footage they were asking for to 130 square feet. A permit was issued and that was installed. And then they requested a variance to install the sign that was not installed, which would add 70, which would require a variance of 70 square feet. Is that correct?
50.
50 square feet, that's where I got the 70. The sign was gonna be 70 square feet. They had 20 more square feet that they could add to, plus the other 50 feet. So it comes up with a 50 feet request. The restaurant has authorization from the POA to act on their behalf because this is POA property. So they did send us authorization that the restaurant could act on their behalf. And the restaurant has chosen Gary Knobloch with Lightning Quick Signs to present their case. So, Mr. Knobloch, would you like to come forward, please?
Good evening, I'm Gary Knobloch with Lightning Quick Signs, and do y'all have photographs of?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, good, just wanna make sure everybody has it. So, basically what the restaurant owners would like to do is to go ahead and put that crab on the side. And the point being is that they're so far off the beaten path, the interstate exit, that they're just trying to garnish a little bit more attention when people do come down there and they see, it just gets a little bit more attention and to bring people into the restaurant. This is what they're trying to do. And it's not going to be obnoxious. It's just kind of off to the side right there, bottom right if you're facing it, on the lattice. That they have like a little lattice that's right under the camp house, and that's what it's going to attach to, just to signify that they have seafood. They're basically a barbecue restaurant, but they're also advertising in this way that they have seafood as well.
I got a question. The other three little signs that are hanging on the other side of the building, does that count as part of the square footage of the overall signage?
Correct. It's the total frontage of the building. Okay, so yes, that does count.
Okay.
Maximum is 100 square feet on the frontage of the building.
Okay, so currently they have the Eat, Drink, Relax, and the Camp House.
Correct, and I have a photograph of,
Yeah.
of how that looks if you want to see
Yeah,
that.
we have it right here.
Okay, good.
Okay. So the variance is basically to request that they put a crab
Yeah.
underneath the Camp House
Yeah.
sign. Okay. Okay.
And what's the square footage of that crab? I'm sorry.
70
70.
square feet. And so since we already used 130 of the existing ordinance of square footage on the signage that they have now, they just needed the 50 to accommodate the whole crab on this building.
Commissioners, any questions?
Well, I guess my concern would be, could you really see that crab up until you got up on it? Does it have to be that big? Could you put the crab somewhere else next to the camp house?
As far as, this was the most feasible spot because you have the steps in the front and there's a landing there, and
Oh,
actually the
that's
camp
landing,
house
I'm sorry.
sets back a little bit. In the past, they've had signage on the top of the landing, I believe. They have electrical connections there on that top from the stairs, and they just wanted to be a little bit more non-discreet with it. not overt, but, so they just thought it would look good under there because they have seafood boils underneath underneath it. They don't actually boil the seafood inside the restaurant. It's always underneath it.
So Pat,
Yes,
no,
sir.
this is for any business, 150 square foot, no matter how big the business is. the
That's
square footage of
correct.
business, So
That
they
is
don't go
correct.
by the overall size of the business.
You do, you can only have maximum of, 3 square feet per lineal foot is what it is. That comes up to 150 feet. Now, of course, if you only had 100 feet frontage, then you couldn't accommodate that 150 square feet, right? So, I mean, if he had a building that was, yes, 150 feet maximum.
Any more questions for Mr. Nyblock? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Staff report?
All right, we have the same situation as far as the findings and what needs to be found in order to do this. And I'll go through them again. The staff does not feel that the special conditions and circumstances exist, they do not exist, which are peculiar to the land, structure, and building. The restaurant is one of 2 located on the south side of the interstate and has been there for many years under different names and management. Maximum square footage restrictions have been applied to all businesses located in the C2 district. The little interpretation would not deprive the applicant of rights commonly enjoyed by others. No other exceptions have been granted. Variances have been granted for this signage in that district. Let's see. Special conditions, circumstances do result from the action of the applicant. The applicant currently has 130 square feet of wall-mounted signage. The variance requested will confer special privileges on the applicant. This would be the first one. It will not represent the minimum variance that will afford relief. You can add 20 square feet of signage or remove some existing signage not to exceed the maximum square foot, or make the crab smaller, so there's some things that can be done to conform to what it is. Does not observe the spirit of the ordinance. It will not observe the spirit of the comprehensive plan, and it will not result in any change in use or density. Questions? Oh, so therefore, I'm sorry. Therefore, the staff recommends denying the variance as requested.
Thank you. Commissioners, any questions for Mr. Rich?
No, I don't have any questions. I do think that it also should be denied because then we're setting a bad precedent.
Staff agrees with you on that. Yes, we do. Thank you.
So for just a point of clarity for me, when
Yes,
you
ma'am.
do the calculations, there's the little top hat on top of the camp house that says "the."
Mm-hmm.
Do we make that a rectangle and do the calculations, or are those done as 2 separate rectangles?
Well, you have height and then you have length.
So you do the maximum height and the maximum
That
width?
is correct.
Okay. 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 So do we have a motion for a recommendation for city council on the request for the new signage?
I make a recommendation, or I make a motion to deny, only because in the past, we have denied most of these variants on the new sign ordinance. So I hate, like you said, like Pat said, I hate to set a precedence of denying others their rights for the ordinance for, or their variance for the sign, so, I'm gonna make a motion to deny this
Okay.
one.
So do we have a second?
I second it.
Okay. So those in favor of a motion for a recommendation to the city council to deny this variance request of 50 feet for additional signage, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, say nay. Okay. All right, motion passes to deny the variance.
Mhm.
Okay.
Should I leave?
Mhm.
Mhm.
Please let the record show that Commissioner Leal has left the meeting at 6:29.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, new business, number 5 is Cure Land Company LLC, represented by Charlene Alfonso, has filed an application requesting a map amendment rezoning in accordance with the zoning ordinance Article 2.8 Amendment rezoning procedure. The case file number is 2023-00023. Cure Land Company LLC desires to change the current zoning from C1 General Commercial District to R3 High Density Single Family Residential. The physical address is 5410 Gex Drive. The tax parcel number is 132A check 2 check 03 check 028.000. The purpose of the zoning change is for condominium development. The parcel of property is generally described as being bound on the west by Diamond Head Drive North, the north by the Duck Pond and Lakeview Court, the east by Diamond Head Drive East and Prestige Properties, and the south by Universal Storage and a vacant parcel owned by Terra Corporation. The parcel of property is legally described as 8.72 acres, Point J.B. Ladner Claim, 13 check 8 check 14. Okay, before we get started, I do need to point out to everyone that is here tonight that we no longer have a quorum.
That
which-
is correct. So, Derek, are you on the line?
I am.
Would-
So if we no longer have a quorum due to the recusal, that we have to go ahead and end the meeting. So, can't continue on with the meeting without a quorum, so it does not require a motion, but you cannot take up any further business without a quorum. The effect of that will be, Pat, how long has the application been, for the rezoning? How long has it been on file?
January the 11th.
January 11th.
So Pat, we wouldn't have time to, reschedule this to the next planning and zoning meeting, and then be within compliance with our ordinance, is that correct?
Correct.
Hey, Derek,
So, go ahead.
this is Mike Bennett. Can the public still voice their opinions or their concerns on this subject?
The meeting, no, that Mike, the meeting's over. So what I suggest that we do is, because we have a situation now where the meeting is over and we don't have time to have another planning, to kick it to next month's planning and zoning and still be within the ordinance, unless the applicant wanted to do it, would agree to that. The only other way to do it is then to send it to the city council without a recommendation for planning and zoning, and the public comments and the hearing will have to take place in front of the city council. So it essentially moves on to the next step without a recommendation from planning and zoning, and the public hearing has to be done at the city council level. That's the way I see it.
Okay.
Okay,
All right.
okay.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you were all able to hear that or not, because we have a recusal on this item. We no longer have a quorum. We must have 4 commissioners to have a quorum to conduct business. So unfortunately, we're not going to be able to, I thought we could go ahead and do a public hearing here, but I'm going to have to go with council's recommendation and advice in this matter. So therefore, this will be moved to next Tuesday at the city council meeting. So please all come back at that point in time, and you'll be able to voice your opinions and whether you're pro or con to this, and the public hearing will be held then. And since the city council is the final decision-making authority anyway, that's where it's going to be decided, and you would be coming there anyway. So I apologize for the inconvenience, but the next city council meeting is next Tuesday, March the 7th. So that's a week from today at 6 o'clock right here in this room. Okay?
Bo. Bo.
No, since we're not going to, since that, we can't hear that item number 5,
But can Sue come back and we do?
well, then we can finish the rest of it, okay? Derek?
Derek, we're gonna bring Sue back in so we can close out the meeting.
Or is the meeting
Or
over?
is the meeting over?
We can come back in and resume the meeting.
Okay,
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 okay.
And do your old business and just adjourn.
okay, thank you. Yeah, he went to get her.
No, they don't have to give a reason. Who wants to know? Oh, does Derek? No, Derek does. Oh, okay. No, tell them I never refuse. They don't have to state a reason.
Okay, Bo, please let the record show that Sue came back at 6:35.
Speak up.
Okay, any unfinished business?
Repeat about Sue, please.
Okay, please let the record note that Sue has returned at 6:36. Okay, so is there any unfinished business that we need to discuss? None, okay. Any open public comments to non-agenda items? We don't have anyone on. Ladies and gentlemen, even though we can't talk about item number 5, we do have to conclude our meeting, so if y'all could give us just a few moments to do that. Thank you. Okay, any open public comments to non-agenda items, and we don't have anyone signed up for that? Okay, so moving on to commissioners' comments. Okay, all right. Communications and announcements. The next city council meeting is Tuesday, March 7th, 2023. The next planning commission meeting is March 28th, 2023. Can we have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, second.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor, say aye. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you, Derek.
Oh, I had turned.
Okay, I'm gonna hang up. Thank you.